Hello, welcome to another edition of Journalist Hangout. I am Dakbo Aru Ajoye. Today on the program, a Nigeria Labour Congress warns the federal government against another fuel price hike, and police deploy 100 female detectives to IDP camps in Borno State. And later on the program, our politicians in Nigeria's northeast raced to save the PDP from drowning. I'll be joined by Wahid Bakari, Olayinka Oyegbele, and Femi Odere. A Journalist Hangout starts now. There is a lot of confusion about whether the federal government is planning to increase the price of premium motor spirits, otherwise known as petrol, or not. Last month, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, said fuel price would not be adjusted because marketers had been given 30 naira profit margin per litre. Shortly after this statement, the group general manager, crude oil marketing of the NNPC, Mele Kyari, said with the current exchange rate, it was no longer feasible to sell petrol at 145 naira per litre. While Nigerians were trying to make sense of his statement, NNPC mega stations increased the price of petrol for 141 naira per litre to 145 naira per litre. Although this new price was within the price margin for the sale of the product, what is shocking is that the Minister of State for Petroleum, Ide Kachukwu, was not aware of the increase. On Monday, the NNPC said there was no plan to further increase the price of petrol. It said it had more than 1.6 billion litres of the product that will meet 45 days consumption. But in the midst of this mismatch of focus, the Nigeria Labour Congress came out tough, saying Nigerians will not accept increase in case there is a plan to do so. What is really going on? That's what we'll try and find out tonight. Gentlemen, Wahid Bakari, thank you once again, and Olayinka Oyegbele and Femi Odere. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Let me start with you, Olayinka. What do you think is going on? We've been on this same platform. We've argued it, fought back and forth. What's really going on?
Well, I would say that I think what the government is trying to do, if I get it right, you know, some few weeks back we discussed it. If my memory serves me right, I think about 4 or 5 weeks ago we discussed this. Is the government testing the waters to see how people are going to take it or what? And I'm a little bit more confused with the Minister of State for Petroleum saying that he's not aware. Now, we all know that unless we are not too sure of how the NNPC operates, whether you increase the price of fuel or not is a major decision. And the NNPC cannot on its own take that decision. The Minister of State should be consulted. And the Minister of State, in turn, will consult the Federal Executive Council or the President. For the NNPC to now increase to 145, unless there is that proviso that, okay, the ceiling cap is 145, and you can increase from one even is 120 up to 145 without a recourse to asking the minister, do we go ahead to do this? That may be why the NNPC increased it without telling the minister. But be that as it may, I think, as we have said before, we will likely now be sounding like a broken record to say that the government will be making the greatest mistake of its administration if it thinks that they can increase this price and people will take it. Don't forget that the first time when the government came, when it was increased, it doubled. The price was doubled. People took it that things were not as hard as they are now.
Yes.
They are not as bad as they are now.
Yes.
People took it that, okay, this is a fresh government. The credibility stock of the president was at a very high peak, and things were not as difficult as this. So people felt that, well, let us give the administration the benefit of the doubt.
But
now, 18, 20 months down the line, people are so pressed to the wall that even the opposition that would have galvanized the agitation is in disarray. Yes, but you know that now, whether the opposition is in disarray or not, the people are pressed to the wall. Many people have lost their job. Many people are working, they are not being paid. And now, you want to increase fuel price. Look, if you look at Lagos, let us take Lagos as an example. People have been talking that there are fewer cars on the road, traffics are no longer what it used to be. It is not because there's any magic that has been done about the Lagos road or anything. The fact is that many people prefer to leave their vehicles at home and go by public transport.
Let me go to Wahid. What do you think? Because you said initially when the fuel price was increased, do you fear then everybody was still basking in the fear of the new leadership? What do you think now? People will not take it. That is what he's saying.
Of course, I will be shocked if Nigeria, fold their arms and allow government to do this to us. Especially for the fact that when they did it, there was no resistance, and it was based on the fact that it was a new government, and a lot of people believe that the president, has a lot of integrity. Let's give him that benefit of doubt. Let's see what they can do within the short period of time. And like Oyegwile rightly said, the political power of people has not dwindled up to this level. So I foresee a situation whereby people will resist, whether with the support of NLC or not. And as we speak now,
but NPC is saying they're not thinking about it. They don't.
Well, we have had similar stories in the past. Like I told you some weeks back, that has been the trend over the years. Whenever you are approaching the ember months, you begin to see that sign, And as we speak now, I'm aware that on filling station in Lagos and Ogun, they are selling at 150 now
already,
and people are buying. They are selling at that price.
But that means it's the fault of the people then, because if you have a filling station beside you that is selling at 145, why patronize the other filling station?
Of course, I won't buy.
I
won't buy. But for those who are buying, I don't know the reason why they are buying at that rate. And as we speak, some filling stations are already holding the products. They are not selling. They are in a situation whereby, that increment will just come like a thief in the night. And whenever it happens like that, they will always benefit. Whatever they have in their stock, it will be an additional profit for them. So I think they are also seeing the situation that this is likely to happen, whether we like it or not. Because as we are all aware, the essence of being in business is for you to make profit.
Yes.
And there is no way you can make profit with the present foreign exchange. How do you make your profit? And if you listen to what Kashiku said, he said what is important, I think that thing is pregnant with meaning. He said what is important is that, what is important, the most important thing for him is that there should be no queue, in filling station. So that shows that it's just a matter of time. They are just testing the waters. It's just a matter of time. They are going to increase it.
All right.
But it will be too bad for the government to do that.
And what do you think? You think like these gentlemen, because they feel the government is just trying to test the water first?
Well, I would tend to think along the line of my two colleagues here, but with a caveat that we really have to take into consideration what is bringing us to say, to talk about this. First was the statement of the NNPC, and second was the statement of the NLC. For an official of NNPC to come out to make statement of his very important product that can make or break an administration is hugely very significant. And that is the reason why we're talking about what we are talking. And the other aspect of this is the NLC piece, the NLC saying that it is not going to be acceptable. Now, it all depends on which faction of NLC we are talking about. because NLC, as we know it, may have effectively become an ineffectual buffoon, because at the end of the day, whether or not Nigerians take it or refuse what potentially could be an increase in the oil price, it's not going to be whether NLC is saying that Nigerians should. It is going to be a sort of a spontaneous combustion, if you will, not because of NLC. Now, having said that, the issue here is that, just like Inka has said, whether or not the government is trying to test the waters to see whether or not people are going to take it, I think it should not even be an issue of them testing the water, because as both gentlemen said, I don't think the people are going to buy it.
They should not try it at all.
It's not a question of me saying they should not buy it, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's
not
fair.
wise.
I don't think it's fair at this point in time to engage in an increase, in petrol pricing. But having said that, for an NNPC official to have come out to make a statement, it's either the government is aware of it, as we're saying, like they're testing water, and if the government is not aware of it, there should be, when you make statement, there should be consequences. We are witnessing the impunity that goes on all across the board. If an NNPC official makes a statement of that importance, without the knowledge of the then it should be fired. Just to make a statement that you don't just come out and say whatever it is that you want to say, especially when it comes to a national resource that ties everybody together, whether anybody likes it or not. You don't make statements like that and expect to get away with it. I think the government should either send a signal that nobody can just come out and make statements without paying the consequences of this. That's
right. Okay, we need to go on a short break. When we'll come back, we'll definitely continue. Don't go anywhere. Hello, welcome back. You're still watching Journalist Hangout. Let me go to you now, sir. What do you think? Because we're talking about, what you mentioned that caught my attention was, if it's possible the government knows about what is going on because of the information that came from an official of the NNPC. But if not, would that not be ringing a bell again? Because some people are saying maybe there's padding. Because there are some people in this government that does not or do not want the government to. Because how can you bring out such statements that will tarnish the image of the government? If you get what I mean.
Well, first of all, maybe we should just take what the NNPC GM said with a pinch of salt and hope that he didn't speak the mind of the government. But even at that, if he didn't speak the mind of the government, it's just like I said while we were at the beginning. Is it that he doesn't report or ask for directive from the Minister of State? Or he reports to, or is it the board that he reports to, the board of the NNPC, and the board has given him the go-ahead, and then the board will consult with the Minister of State or what? Because this thing, we must get, there must be a clear line of decision-making and action. You cannot, is it that the general manager has a right to decide how much they sell petrol or what? And this is something that concerns, that holds the live wire of the government.
A sensitive situation.
So I don't think the government will leave that to a general manager to decide without the knowledge of the minister. For instance, I was listening to a radio program yesterday, and one of the commentators said, if you are earning 100,000 naira, and I wonder how many Nigerians earn that now, if you are earning 100,000 naira in May last year, by the current rate of things, that's about 30,000 naira. Because things have skyrocketed so much, and people are even praying that they should be paid the salary they are earning. So nobody is even talking of an increase in, if it were before, when the the price of petroleum jumped from 85 naira
the civil servants
to 145.
would have been clamoring for an increase.
Of course, the NLC will have called people out, okay, well, you have increased the fuel price, then you must increase our salary. But that one did not even feature at all. So this government, if any way you look at it, it is a very, very lucky government. I think, and if I'm not too generous with the commendation, I think it is the most lucky government that has ever ruled this country. Because for every decision that have been taken, people are embracing it. Even when those who are in the opposition are criticizing it, people will still come to the defense of the government that, no, the economy was bad when it came in, this, especially with the revelation left, right, and center.
Yes.
So the government should not fritter away that goodwill.
They should take a chill pill.
You look at it and you begin to wonder, who are the people who are advising this government?
I wonder.
Who are the people who are telling it what to do?
I have something on the line.
Are they taking off for a ride?
I wonder. Good evening, Samson.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Samson. We're listening to your contribution this evening.
How are you doing?
How are you, sir?
Oh, very well.
Thank you.
Yeah, please, I want to just make a point here. I believe that this government has enjoyed the confidence of Nigeria, especially when they just come on board. A lot of people feel like, let's be patient and give them time to see what will come up. But as we speak today, the mind of Nigerians is not the same as what I've just described. I can assure you, I want to allude to the what this man, the man have said earlier. And this man has been very peaceful and very straightforward to this point. As we speak today, if this government attempts to make any increment, I can assure you, Costa Ura will revolt against the present regime. So this is the wrong time to do that. And what is important now is to focus on how to bring Nigeria out of the recession.
Yes.
As we speak today, if you go to NNPC and some other government, federal government agencies, they are keeping a number of persons as casual staff, contract staff, and what have you. You understand?
Yes.
So this is not the right time for Nigeria for this government to come up with anything, that will affect or further increase the plight of Nigeria.
All right, and thank you so much, Samson. But how much is petrol selling per litre in your neighborhood? Did you hear that, Samson? Samson? All right, then. Thank you so much for that. Let me go to you, but let's hit the nail on let's hit the hammer on the nail now, on the head. But let's talk about the fact, let's talk about this Forex. Is someone not saying the truth, really? Because let's be realistic. If these guys, if they have Forex, they have everything, can they still be buying at the same amount? Even some are saying there's no Forex. Another quarter is saying there's Forex, but we cannot be buying at that same price because the Forex, the exchange rate is affecting a whole lot. What is the realistic situation?
I think the issue has to do with the exchange rates, because if you, from my own findings, I discovered that most of the marketers, they have stopped importing, because of the fact that they allege that NNPC has not fulfilled his promise on foreign exchange, And NNPC, on the other hand, is saying that, no, we have shortage of Forex because of the fact that this bombing is still going on in the Niger Delta and vandalism and the rest of them, as a result of which Nigeria is losing an average of 1 million barrel per day. So because of that, the foreign exchange that government ought to be earning from crude oil has also shrunk. So there is no Forex to give to them. I believe if they can get the Forex at the normal rate which government promised them, it will be very easy for them. But if they are going to go to the black market to source for their foreign exchange, how do you expect them to sell at the same price they are selling? And they are out there to gain. Yes, and the purpose of being in business, like I said earlier on, is for them to make profit. So except if you are saying that they should be selling as loss, which I don't think anybody will want to do, it's not realistic unless if they can get the foreign exchange at the amount, the exchange rate government promised them initially. I think that is weird. And if you also listen to the executive secretary of PPPRA, she also said that the issue of forex is a major challenge. Kashiku also said the same thing, you know. And as long as you continue to, you are importing, you can't get foreign exchange at the normal rate, except if you go to the black market. Of course, they can't meet up with the cost.
And let me go to you, sir, because you mentioned NLC the last time. Are you saying it's not, it's something spontaneous? The people rise when they want to rise. It's not as if NLC will make the clarion call. But can NLC really, because you know the NLC of the NLC of then, if they make a call, yesteryears, do we still have something like that can rise to defend the people whenever such happens? You know, even NLC the last time, Occupy Lagos, Occupy Nigeria, NLC played a major role then, but can we still have such?
Well, unfortunately, I'm afraid not, for the simple reason that NLC, I don't know why I keep wanting to say NLC is factionalized. We all know that, you know, and the organization has been heavily compromised, you know, over the years. That, you know, people see through them. The workers see through them. When they say something, they are saying, the workers know very much that they're saying those things in accordance to their own primordial selfish interests. So that already has been established. So for NNPC to say one way or the other, it's not really going to fly.
You know why I said so? Because the way the picture I painted was a picture it's inevitable, talking about the increase of price, pump price. Because except, there's a clause then, except we'll sell forex to the people that needs to bring this forex in at the normal price. But if everything stays this way or gets worse, that means there will be an increase in pump price.
Well, let us look at it this way. There's one more component that we really haven't talked about that much, and I think Wahid alluded a little bit to that, and that is the marketers, and we can also call them the cabal. And don't let us forget that these people are still not happy. They are not happy campers with this government because of what it has done. You know, that no other government had dared to do it in the past.
Taking food off the table.
And just take it like that. So these guys are not going to just roll over and die, you know, or basically accept everything that the government says. So basically what I'm saying in essence is that there are some very serious, insidious faith columnists in the oil marketing business that are making sure that this government doesn't succeed, you know. So we can talk about the issue of forex or no forex, but see, this oil thing is a situation of damn if you do and damn if you don't. You know, things have been left, you know, to rot for so long. It is, to me, it is like you have a huge tanker in the middle of the sea, and you want to make a 90-degree turnaround. If you're not careful, it's going to capsize. So to me, this seems to be what the government is trying to do, and it's having fighters all over, you know, from whatever angle. But that is not to say that the government doesn't have any responsibility, because at the end of the day, the buck stops with the government. So if he's not thinking about increasing price of petroleum, then he should send a signal out, you know, to this NNPC official, because this Gary man is not just an ordinary guy, you know. So he should be sending a signal that, hey, look, you can't make statement and just think that you can just
tarnish the image of my administration.
Exactly.
Thank you, Fembuka. So I need to go on a short break, and when we'll come back, we will continue. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Gentlemen, as we round up, what do you think? Your conclusion?
Well, for me, my last word is that for a government that could subsidize what is clearly a private affair, I mean, for people going to Hajj, that could subsidize that, it will as well go ahead and continue to give genuine importers, they must size them down. If there are only 20 or 10 or even 5 that are genuine, they should continue to give them forex at the control, whatever, for them to import fuel. Because any attempt to go beyond the present price is a thing that we may not all be able to foretell what will happen.
What do you think?
Yes, the primary reason why government said it removes subsidy is because, according to them, it has become cesspool of corruption. But the question is, if there is inefficiency in government, must you pass the brunt to the masses? If there are corrupt people, you should deal with them instead of passing the blame or passing the burden on the masses.
The what do you think, sir?
Well, my take on this in the final analysis is that I hope the government does not, in the immediate or even in the very near future, tinker with the petroleum price at this point in time, because it is not going to be politically correct, and I don't care the possibility of the excuse. I'm not sure the people are going to buy it. I hope they don't do that.
All right, thank you so much. Last month, a non-governmental organization, Human Rights Watch, raised an alarm that women and girls in Borno IDP camps were raped and abused by camp officials, police, soldiers, and government officials. These allegations drew the anger of many, and President Buhari ordered an investigation to unravel the truth. Last week, the Borno State Police Command deployed more than 100 female police personnel to different IDP camps in the state to spy on sexual predators and engage women who might have been abused. But the police commissioner, Damian Chukwu, may not believe in the allegation. After all, he has been quoted as saying the allegation of sexual abuse in IDP camps was strange because none had been reported despite having his men on these camps. What does this say about this investigation? What do you think, sir? Because this is worrisome.
In the first place, I don't think the police commissioner is, maybe he's living in a different world. We live in a society where rape victims are stigmatized. And for him to say that he doesn't think anything like that is going on because it has not been reported to him,
to the policeman,
to the police, is begging the issue. Now, how many people today have such cases and report to the police? I mean, because the way Nigeria take the issue of rape and other things, we take it as is a stigmatization.
And even now, compounded with the fact that these ones are even IDPs.
Exactly. So how do you do it? Look, the other day, the Chibok girls were released or rescued or whatever, and they came with children. At a sitting we were discussing it, and one of the people we were discussing with said something very, very, which I find very, very uncomplimentary and whatever, that how do you want to take care of these children? They may grow up to be Boko Haram and things like that. So talk less of those who have been raped. Now, the issue is that the way we look at such things in this society leaves more to be desired. So there is no way the police commissioner will think that people will report. Even ordinary theft at home, how many people report to the police? Because we all believe that even if you report, what will happen? You go and report, the police will ask you to come back. When, the next time you go, they will tell you they have no fuel in their car to go and do their investigation, or I've not even eaten today, or God waiting you won't give me. You that you have lost something. Yes. So for a rape victim, how does the police commissioner expect that they are going to report? And Wahid, that is just begging the question. It is happening.
And just look at the victims here are even victims already. They are vulnerable people. And like they mentioned, said the girls were raped and abused by camp officials, police, soldiers, and government officials. So who then will they report to? If the authority is violating the people, so who will they report to?
Well, like Yegbile rightly said, you know, ours is a society whereby people are likely to stigmatize a rape victim. You know, that is a problem on one hand. On the other hand, you know, there is always that threat and intimidation from those who have raped victims. And if you look at the report, there is this particular 17-year-old girl, you know, who said she was abused by a policeman.
Yes.
And the policeman threatened that if you dare report me, I'm going to shoot you.
And that's the policeman, the commissioner of police wants the girl to report to.
The girl is vulnerable. She's frightened. She has nobody to go to. And there was another girl who said, in my own case, I reported. But because they work together, that was the exact word the girl used. But because they work together, they refuse to act on it. There are so many cases like that, you know, whereby, you know, when you report, police will do this or no. There is still one pending in Lagos Police Command, you know, of a DPO that was accused of raping a Beninois about 2 years ago. You know, a former DPO of Onikon Police Division.
Yeah.
You know, the woman came out openly, you know, and said, despite the fact that the society is likely to, you know, stigmatize me, I'll still come out and tell the whole world what I experienced in the out of this DPO. And as at that time, the Lagos Police Command did promise that, no, we are going to make findings our findings. Okay. 2 years after, they have not done it. They have not done anything like that. So in that situation, you know, you are easily discouraged from reporting such case, because you know that even if you report, the likelihood that something will come out of it is minimal. It's not even there.
Okay. What do you think? Do you want to dissect that statement by Damian Chukwu?
Well, the way I would dissect it is for me to look at it from what I can call an ethnocentric point of view. Meaning that, and that is not to say that rape or no rape did not go on, you know, at the IDP camp. But I think it is important to know what our society is and what our society is not and what our society ought to be. If we are looking at the IDP, don't forget that we have a majority of these IDPs who are teenagers, and they are bound by their own cultural, religious values. We have seen a girl as young as 13, 12 being given to a 50, 55-year-old for marriage. Which is
a norm.
You know, which is the norm. And in our own area here, that is not to say that it does not happen in our own southwestern part of the country, or even south for the most part.
Not prevalent.
But it's not prevalent. So if we see things like that, we are more likely to rush in and call it rape. But who's to say that it was not consensual, so to speak, even though we look at the age of that girl as somebody who cannot make a decision, you know? So we really need to look at this dispassionately, you know, as much as possible before we can say that, yes, you know, there was a case of rape. And if there was a case of rape, you know, if anybody is not saying anything, you know, if the parent of the victim is not coming out to say my child was raped, then there's really no legal basis. And like I said, there's a cultural dimension, there's a religious dimension, you know, and all of this. I think we need to take all these things into consideration before we begin to shout rape or no rape, in my own estimation.
All right, all the way from Benue, I have Adamu. Good evening, Adamu.
Good evening, Dafo.
Good evening, sir.
And the other great men in the house.
Good evening.
Thanks a lot for the job well done all the time.
Thank you.
For both the topics, the previous one and the one we are discussing, we believe there is no smoke without fire. And it's quite unfortunate that today we are living in a country where justice are being destroyed by lawyers and our health are being destroyed by doctors. knowledge destroyed by universities, and of course, information destroyed by the press. You see, these are things that ordinary man cannot have a place to go to. The only thing I want to re-emphasize on is this issue of cabals. This other man with eyes will said all, but these are the people that Buhari really needs to work with. These are the people that are really blocking the barrier between ordinary man and them at the top. Buhari should be reminded that the trust we have on him now is no more surplus, it's deficit. If this should continue within the next 2 years that we are thinking we are to reach before 2019, what Aisha said may come to reality. They should work seriously to make sure that they remove these people in between. Imagine IDP, nothing happened. Think of raising fuel price there and there. They want to say it to see what we can do, to see our reaction. Like seriously, Occupy Nigeria with a little pain this time around. They should remember what they did the other time. We know they bargained to reach 140 to see if we are to react for them to reduce. Nothing happened. The price maintained. They want to continue.
Adam, I would love to listen to you on and on, but we don't have that time. Thank you very much for your contribution. But you see, another thing caught my attention again is the fact that the Borno State Police Command have done a tremendous job deploying more than 100 female police personnel to different IDPs in the state to spy on sexual predators, to spy. Everybody is aware of this information. In the dailies, everywhere, everybody's aware. Even the sexual predators are aware that they've sent 100 spies. How would that continue? I thought this should be discreet. They should have sent the spies, caught the people, and now bring it to the news. If you get what I mean, I thought that would be proactive enough. I'm not in the force, but I'm thinking like one now. What do you think?
It's just a warning that if you are one of those predators, we've sent people to look up for you.
So just don't do it now.
I mean, it's typical of the Nigerian police. If you are being robbed and you call the Nigerian police, by the time they are coming, they'll be blowing the siren to tell them that we are already here. Or you better run away.
Wow.
I don't see why. When you are going to do that, it should be without any fanfare, without any announcement or anything. Just deploy them and then let people be caught red-handed. But now you are already announced that we are sending 100...
They're sending spies.
Spies. And then...
via announcement. it's funny.
I think it's...
What do you think?
Well,
it's not funny.
It's funny, but I think it's also, at the same time, a record development. You know, it will, in a way, boost the confidence of those women and girls, you know, in IDP camps, you know, when they see a lot of women around them, you know, women will also want to protect their fellow women. At least for now, we are sure that those ungodly men, you know, will now look for a way to control their libido, which they have not been doing in the past, you know. I would have also loved to see a situation whereby the investigative panel that the president says should look into this thing should be headed by a woman, preferably maybe a retired judge, a very top senior retired civil servant. What's
the Minister of Women Affairs doing? I've not heard
maybe she can also be a member of the panel. Because why I want a woman to head that panel is because of the fact that, you know, it will be very easy for the girls and the women, you know, to confide in a woman, in a fellow woman. You know, rape thing is like we said, comes with a lot of stigma. You know, and some of the girls, when they related their experience, you know, they have been ostracized, you know, by those who are on the camp. They see them as, oh, you are the useless type. How do you allow this man to do this to you? They have showed them how they were not talking to them. So when they see a woman, you know, around them, they have that sense of protection. That's I will avoid a situation whereby police do it discreetly. Let's see. Because I know there are some men, that's why the fact that this thing has come to the open, some men will still want to do it, you know, they will still want to do it. They want to say, okay, let me also try whether I can still succeed with any of these girls. But for me, I think it's a good thing that we now have policemen, police women, in different camps now.
Okay. Do you think they will give the women there, the vulnerable ones, a sense of protection? Because normally we see all this on the pages of the newspapers, really. Hopefully, we have 100 female detectives in those camps, hopefully. Even though they're saying it on the papers, but hopefully.
Yes. Just like as Wahid said, it was a welcome development to see the deployment of these.
Can I interrupt you?
Sure.
Please, to go on a short break.
Sure.
I will come back. I'll definitely continue with you. Don't go anywhere, please. Welcome back. You're still watching Journalist Hangout on TVC. Okay, let me go back to you now. I did interrupt you. Can you quickly finish on that?
Yes, as I was saying earlier, before you rudely interrupted me.
I do apologize.
You reminded me of our secondary school debate days.
But see, it was a good development. But the thing of it is, the other side of it is, what can 100 female officers do in a camp that has at least 2,000, just to be modest, IDP, people? What can they do? How many people can they monitor? And you have a situation too whereby there's poverty, there's lack of everything, and all these people are going to want to do something about their lives, And so, as much as it was a welcome development, it's a little bit too late,
okay.
For the things that have happened.
All right, then. Yeah. Lovely. We've rounded up on that. Let's talk about something that's happening today, something historic. Right? That's the biggest event in the whole world right about now. That's the American election. In the next few hours, we will know who will be the president of the most powerful nation. Is it Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump? What do you think? What's your own take?
Well,
which one will favor you or favor Nigeria?
Quite frankly, I don't really, to use the ex-president's slang or phrase, that I don't give a damn, really, and as to who comes up, as a friend. Maybe because I'm burnt out, when it comes to witnessing the American presidential election, because in the interest of full disclosure, I spent close to 30 years of my productive life in the U.S. So doing media, at that time too. So it doesn't really, I'm concerned about Nigeria, about where Nigeria is going to go. Yes, it is important, because the U.S. is the most powerful, country in the world, and whatever happens to as to who becomes the president is going to have effect.
A ripple effect.
Ripple effect. So, but at the end of the day, it is going to be Hillary Clinton.
At the end of the day?
Yes.
But you are not a prophet, but...
Yes, for the simple reason that, you see, Donald Trump is speaking for a huge majority of Americans too. And these are majorities that are so angry about the fact that Obama became a president, a black man for the most part, And these are people that are so conservative, and these are people that are so poor, at the same time. But I don't think at the end of the day, sanity is going to...
So you think it's built around emotions, around sentiment, right?
Yes, it's sentiments in terms of the fact that who is going to be because the whole world is against Donald Trump, and America is going to find a way one or the other. Well, I'm not going to call it padding or rigging, but one way or the other, it's going to...
You think the whole world, but Putin is a friend of Obama. What do you think when he says the whole world?
That's just one country.
What do you think? That's just one country, but not the whole world.
Yeah. You see, one thing I want us to know is that the American presidency or the American is an institution.
Yes.
It is not so much dictated to by the person who becomes the president. Now, when
was the person that has the key to the nukes or the key to the missile?
No,
where you press the key, the button of the missiles.
No. It is not that easy. When Obama became the president of the United States of America, many Africans rejoiced, thinking that, this is the turn of Africa, this man is going to be pro-Africa. But when you look at it in the real sense of it, how much of Africa, how much did Africa really benefit?
But the light of Africa.
The only thing
20 million new connections.
The only thing you just talk about is that oh yes, we have a black man there. Is the American president. It gives people hope that someday somehow they can become something as long as they do what they are supposed to do. But in the large sense of it, did it really benefit Africa more than it would have been if a white American had become the president?
You don't give a damn also.
Exactly. What I just foresee is that even if Trump becomes the American president tomorrow,
nothing changes.
He is not going to be as cantankerous and as idiotic as he's sounding now. Because the institution will tame him. It is not like an African country where the president is all in all. They have their checks and balances.
You reckon?
Exactly.
Right.
So we shouldn't just lose sleep over.
Yes, you know, a lot of us, we see anything American as the model. But this election has also brought out the other side of American politics. You know, we see the level of dirtiness in this for the first time.
Yes.
You know, whereby people have to bring the past of candidates. You know, they left issues at a point, and they were attacking personality.
And the candidate has that is to say, if he doesn't win, he will not accept.
I won't accept. It has never happened in the history of America. You know, that shows that, you know, they also have their own other side of policies.
And we're learning.
You see, American electoral campaign has always been like that. And the reason, and that has always been like that, is what we seem to be missing is it is based on the integrity of the individual. So in other words, if the individual had done something 10 years ago that puts a question mark, you know, to his leadership quality and potential, Americans
and that's what is missing around
and that is what is missing, and that's what we should be keen into.
You know, this election has also polarized Americans. And I foresee a situation whereby, of course, we know that the pendulum will swing somewhere. Is it that Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton? And I foresee a situation whereby that polarization will continue for a long time if care is not taken. Just like we're having in Nigeria now. You know, that election of Jonathan and has continued to divide us, even 2 years after. And we may have a repeat of that in the United States if care is not taken.
All right, then, gentlemen, thank you very much for coming on the program. Thank you so much, Waheed, and Femi.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. And that's all on Journalist Hangout. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program, or watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I am Dapo Aruwaje. Bye for now. God bless Nigeria.